She backstabbed me and took my ex. So I took her reputation then. I'm not sure what's worse, losing a boyfriend or realizing your best friend was waiting in the wings the entire time. But I wasn't just betrayed. I was played. Slowly. Expertly. And with the kind of subtle cruelty you can only expect from someone who knows your softest spots. My name's Emily. I'm 28, living in Chicago, working in digital marketing, and until 6 months ago, I lived with my roommate Jenna in a cozy 2-bedroom apartment near Lincoln Park. Jenna and I met in grad school. Tight budgets and Craigslist landed us in the same place, and within weeks, we were talking about everything from dating disasters to future dreams. She wasn't just a roommate. She was family. Then there was Luke, my boyfriend of nearly 2 years. Charming, patient, witty. The kind of guy who showed up with tacos when you texted, "Bad day," and remember the name of your childhood dog. He wasn't flashy, but he made me feel seen in a world full of people glued to their phones. Jenna never liked him. Or so she said. "He gives me the ick," she told me once, giggling over wine as I showed her a picture of Luke in an old college football jersey. Not my type at all. She rolled her eyes every time I invited him over, said things like, "He's nice, but he's so plain." I laughed it off. Friends don't always get along with your boyfriend. And if she had concerns, at least she was honest, right? Turns out, honesty has layers. The breakup with Luke was messy. Not loud or dramatic, but quiet, cold. I could feel him pulling away for months. He became harder to reach. Our conversations got clipped. Affection turned into obligation. Then one night, he told me he didn't feel the same anymore and left. I cried on Jenna's shoulder for a week straight. She made me tea, told me I deserved better, and even offered to help me delete every trace of him from my phone. Then, 2 months later, I saw them. Not just together. Together. Arms linked, laughing like they were the only 2 people in the world. I was standing in line at Cafe Astoria when I spotted them across the street, leaning into each other like a rom-com montage. She wore the scarf I had gifted her last Christmas. He wore the stupid smirk he used to give me when I said something nerdy. I didn't say anything. Not then. Instead, I watched. I watched their Instagram stories. Watched her post cryptic little captions like, "Timing is everything," and "Some things fall into place when others fall apart." I noticed she had removed every photo of us from her feed, but suddenly had Luke in her comments. It wasn't just betrayal. It was betrayal with intent. You don't fall into someone's arms like that by accident. Not after swearing up and down that you'd never be into him. Not after helping me put myself back together. I started piecing things together. Luke had mentioned one time how Jenna made him feel weird when I wasn't around. I remembered a night I came home to find them deep in conversation on the couch, closer than usual. I remember the weird pause when I asked what they were talking about. I brushed it off back then. Foolishly. But now, I saw the truth through the cracks. So I decided to give them what they wanted, distance. I moved out of the apartment 2 weeks later. Told Jenna I was for fresh air and new energy. She said she understood. And then I did something I knew would sting in a way she'd never expect. I reached out to someone Jenna really didn't want hearing from me. Someone who knew her before she wore pretty Instagram filters and played the role of the chill, artsy girlfriend. Her ex. The one she said ruined her trust forever. The one she swore she'd never speak to again. Let's just say, I had some things to tell him. Jenna always told me her ex, Carter, was a lesson, not a lover. The kind of man who left scars, not memories. Toxic. Manipulative. But I remembered something she once said offhandedly over margaritas. He was the only guy who ever really got me, you know? Carter and I had never met in person, but I'd seen his picture. Tall, confident, tattooed, with a smoldering, unreadable expression. The type of guy who looked like trouble and knew it. Their relationship had ended 2 years before I ever moved in with Jenna, and she talked about him like a ghost. Haunting, unshakable, unfinished. So I did something petty, yes, but surgical. I found him on Instagram. His profile was private, but his bio had a business email. He was a music producer now, apparently. I sent him a casual, polite message that I knew he'd find impossible to ignore. "Hey, you don't know me, but I used to live with Jenna. I think we might have a few stories to trade. Interested?" 2 days later, I got a response. We met for coffee in Wicker Park. I expected someone cocky, defensive, maybe a little too proud. Instead, Carter surprised me. He was sharp, funny, emotionally aware, nothing like the villain Jenna had painted. He listened as I spilled everything, the betrayal, the lies, the scarf, the smirk. And then he laughed. Not at me, but like the entire situation confirmed something he already suspected. "I always knew she had it in her," he said, sipping his coffee. Jenna doesn't just move on, she upgrades. Or thinks she does. That line stuck with me. Thinks she does. He told me stories. Some I expected. Fights, manipulation. Jenna's habit of rewriting history in her favor. But others were darker. Carter had receipts, screenshots, texts, voice memos, proof of the two-face games Jenna used to play. One message stood out. People fall for me too easily. It's not my fault if they get attached. That voice memo was from during our roommate days. When I told Carter about her dating Luke, he wasn't surprised. She always keeps backups, he said. When she told me she had a roommate who was dating a safe guy, I knew she was sizing him up. She loves the ones who don't see her coming. A plan started to form, not out of spite, but out of justice. Luke deserved to know who he was really dating. So Carter and I staged a little reminder of Jenna's past. We planned a reunion party at a local bar where Jenna used to hang out. It was Carter's idea. A mutuals night, with old friends, classmates, and a few of Jenna's old flings invited. Nothing fancy. Just enough noise to draw attention. And we made sure the invite reached Luke through a friend of a friend. Carter showed up late, on purpose, wearing a leather jacket and confidence like armor. The moment Jenna saw him across the room, her face drained of color. I was sipping my drink from a corner booth, watching it all unfold. She pulled him aside within minutes. I couldn't hear what they said, but I saw her body language. Defensive, fidgety, panicked. Luke hovered nearby, trying to figure out who this mystery man was. A friend whispered something to him. He nodded, eyes narrowed. And then came the moment I had been waiting for. Luke confronted Jenna outside the bar. I couldn't hear much, but Carter and I positioned ourselves nearby. Luke's voice wasn't angry, it was disappointed. You said he was a monster, he told her. Now I find out you were texting him while we were dating. Jenna froze. I saw it happen in real time, the exact moment her web started unraveling. I didn't mean to, she started, but he cut her off. You lied to me. About everything. He walked away. She didn't follow him. Carter leaned over and said, I didn't think it'd be that satisfying. I smiled. It's not over yet. Because karma doesn't just knock. Sometimes it moves in next door. The fallout from that night at the bar rippled faster than even I expected. Jenna tried to recover. She posted vague, teary selfies captioned with things like, not everyone knows your side of the story and that's okay. But no one was buying it anymore. Luke had ghosted her. Her mutual friends started pulling away. Even her office gossip circle went suspiciously quiet. But that wasn't what undid her. The real collapse came with what she valued most, her image. Jenna had always been the effortless girl, arts and culture Instagram posts, vintage fashion reels, those deep thoughts at sunset captions. She built a modest but growing brand office aesthetic. She had PR clients, sponsorships, and even got invited to mid-tier influencer events around Chicago. Authenticity was her thing. So Carter and I decided to show the world just how authentic she really was. See, while Jenna was burning bridges, I was collecting wood. I still had access to our old shared Google Drive from when we were roommates. Turns out, she stored a lot more than old grocery lists there, client drafts, mood boards, and personal voice memos. Rants she recorded for future content, full of unfiltered thoughts that she clearly never expected anyone else to hear. There was one in particular I sent anonymously to a gossip page that focused on influencers and creators. I could make anyone fall in love with me. I've done it before. People are just puzzles. You figure out what piece they're missing and pretend to be it. That clip made rounds. Fast. It wasn't long before a few creators she collaborated with dropped her. One brand canceled a partnership mid-campaign. Her follower count started dipping by the hundreds. People flooded her comments with snake emojis and lines from the leaked audio. One comment stuck with me. You're not deep. You're just a mirror for whoever's in front of you. But karma had one last card to play. Luke reached out to me. He messaged late at night, just a simple, I owe you an apology. We met for coffee. He looked tired but clearer. Said he'd been blindsided by Jenna. Said everything finally made sense. The shift in affection. The subtle manipulation. Even the way she twisted our breakup to make me look clingy to their friends. I should have trusted you, he said. I shrugged. You trusted the wrong person. We've all done it. Then he asked something I didn't expect. Was this all some long game for revenge? I paused and told him the truth. It started that way, but it turned into something else. I just didn't want her to keep winning by playing the victim. Someone had to break the illusion. He nodded slowly, then smiled faintly. Well, consider it broken. We didn't get back together. That was never the plan. But we left on a better note, an honest one. No illusions. No masks. As for Jenna, she moved out of Chicago 3 weeks later. Deleted her Instagram. Went radio silent. Some say she's taking time to heal. Others say she's planning a rebrand. But I don't care. Because I didn't just get revenge. I reclaimed my story. And I made damn sure she couldn't steal it ever again. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.